3, 2, 1, action. Hey guys, what's up? This is Mr. Markowitz today, talking to you about Lesson 2 for our unit on editing. And today we're talking about continuity editing. All right. Now, I first became aware of continuity editing back in 1999 with a little movie called Office Space. All right. This was the year that I started making films with my friends. And I always assumed that films were made with multiple cameras, like a television show, all right? And I'm watching Office Space, and there is this scene. It's a very simple scene where just characters are talking, all right? Two characters are on one side of the table, one character is on the other side of the table. And notice that we're not looking at them from an angle. We're looking at them straight on. So my 16-year-old brain at the time is looking at this and wondering, how come I don't see the camera in the other shot? Because these were filmed at different times, okay? They weren't filmed at the same time. They did the two shot of the two characters on one side. They ran through the whole scene. Then they moved the camera to the other side of the characters and got the other character's shot. And then in editing, they put the two takes together, and hey, now we have a scene. And it makes it look like the action is happening simultaneously. When in reality, these two shots could have been filmed days apart. Okay, I doubt they were, but they could have been, all right? And we wouldn't have known any better. So there are these rules that you have to follow that help your film sort of maintain continuity. Well, what is continuity? Well, it's just this continuous, you're watching the film and everything just looks like it makes sense. You know what I mean? Character in one shot, let's say you have a wide shot of a character picking up their phone and putting it to their ear, and then right when they put it to their ear, we cut to a close-up of that phone on their ear. Okay, that action makes it look like those two shots are happening one after the other, when in reality, again, the second shot might have been filmed minutes or even hours later, okay, whatever. Or days later, who cares, right? So there's all these different tricks for how to maintain continuity, right? And when you see a break in continuity, sometimes it's not noticeable, but sometimes it really is, right? Let's say a character is drinking from a glass of water, and in the wide shot, or the master shot, whatever, the glass is half full, but then when they take a sip, there's a straw in it now for some reason, and the glass is completely full, right? Well, that would be a break in continuity, right? That doesn't make sense, all right? So here are some different rules that you can follow in order to help your film preserve this idea of continuity. One is called the 180-degree rule, all right, which basically states this. If you have a character or a scene, if you have a scene where two characters are in a conversation with one another, basically you as the camera operator will draw an imaginary line between those characters and then commit yourself and the camera to one side of that line, okay? So let's take a look at this example from Mean Girls. We have Lindsay Lohan's character entering the cafeteria. She sits down with the plastics, and we've committed to this side of the table, right? Lindsay Lohan will always be on the right, the plastics will always be on the left. If the camera were to switch and go to the other side of that line, and now Lindsay Lohan sometimes is on the right, and she's sometimes on the left, and the plastics are sometimes on the right, and sometimes they're on the left, you as an audience would go, yeah, this is hard to watch. I mean, I sort of get what's happening here, but something's just off here, okay? So when you're filming, again, draw that imaginary line and don't cross the line, all right? That's just a rule to follow. So let's say, again, this is our scene. We've got two characters talking to one another, and we're going to film it in 3 different shots. We have 3 different camera angles we want to get. We want to get our master shot, where we see both characters interacting through the whole scene. Then we're going to let them run through that whole scene, all right, just in that 2 shot. Then we're going to cut, we're going to break, whatever. Then we're going to reset for an over-the-shoulder medium close-up, pointing this way on this character. We'll do the whole scene again. And then we'll move the camera over here, get the over-the-shoulder medium close-up of the person wearing the blue shirt, run through the whole scene again, and then in editing, we can put these 3 shots together in any sequence that we want, and the scene will hopefully maintain continuity, all right? Unless the characters are smoking a cigarette or eating a sandwich or doing something with their hands, talking on the phone, whatever. Is the phone on this side in one shot and this side in the other shot? Oh, there's different things that, the script supervisor sort of needs to be looking out for while filming. But for the most part, if you follow these rules, you can help your film maintain a sense of continuity. All right. We've sort of already talked about the next step here: master shots, shot, reverse shot, and reaction shots. Okay. Again, my rule is, if I'm going to film a scene where characters are just engaged in dialogue, I would start with a master shot where I'm wide on my lens. I'm maybe at a distance from the action, from the characters, and I let sort of the whole scene just play out in front of the camera from beginning to end. Right? Your actors know their lines; they don't need to break, whatever. Just get that master shot. It's called coverage. All right. Then, once that master shot has been done, then you can move in and get the close-ups or the medium close-ups or the character's shots and then the reverse shots, whatever. Take a look at this scene from Fargo. All right, William H. Macy's character enters this room and he's having a conversation with his father-in-law and his father-in-law's lawyer, and they're talking about setting up parking lots.
What kind of finder's fee are you looking for?
Huh? The financials are pretty thorough, so the only thing we don't know is your fee.
My fee?
Notice how in this shot we start with the wide master shot where we see all three characters and we get a sense of where they're sitting and the environment in which they're in. And then once we start cutting into the medium shots and the medium close-ups and the two shots and the over the shoulders and all these different angles, and all of these different shots required a different setup. Okay, it probably took a whole day to film this one scene because they had to constantly keep breaking the, setting up the cameras, I guess, and reshooting the entire scenes. And then in editing, they can put all of these shots together and make a coherent scene. All right. The last thing that we'll talk about for helping to maintain continuity is this idea of an eye-line match, okay? That if you see a shot of a character looking at something and then we cut to something else, the idea is that this new shot that we see is what the character in the previous shot was looking at, okay? So we watched Rear Window last year, right? Jeffries picks up his telephoto lens. He's looking through the camera across the courtyard into Thorwald's apartment, and we see what he is looking at, right? We cut to the new shot, and the audience just goes, oh, we must be looking through the eyes of Jeffries, right? This is what he was just looking at, okay? This eye-line match really helps to preserve continuity. Let's go back to that clip from Fargo, okay? Now, there are no point of view shots in this scene, but notice how the character's eyes are shifting to who's talking, right? And because we have that master shot, and because where they're looking is in relation to where the audience expects those characters to be sitting, we understand, who the character is looking at when they look over here versus who they're looking at when they look over here, whatever, okay? Having that eyeline match is very important for helping the audience understand where these characters are in relationship to the other characters in the scene, and that, again, helps preserve the continuity. Let's take a look at your lab assignment for this week. What I want you guys to do is you're going to make a video where you have two characters. They can be humans, stuffed animals, action figures, whatever, I don't care. But in the video, all they're doing is passing an object from one side of the frame to the other, right? From character A to character B, back to A, back to B. It can be a ball, it can be a frisbee, it can be a bottle, I don't care, all right? But just something is being passed between them, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, okay? You have to have at least 5 shots, a master shot, a couple of, medium close-ups or medium shots, whatever. You have to have at least 5 edits or 5 cuts going between the different shots. And here's where it's going to get tricky. You have to maintain continuity throughout the entire scene. All right. So if character A has the ball, and then they throw the ball to character B, and then in the next shot, we see character A still with the ball. Well, that doesn't make sense, right? Because in the previous shot, he threw it to character B. Okay, so we start with a master shot. Character A throws the ball to character B. Then we cut to a medium shot of character B catching the ball. And now character B throws the ball back to A. Notice how the ball never breaks continuity, right? It goes from A to B to A to B to A. And we as an audience get the sense that this scene is happening simultaneously, right? It's all, everything's happening at once, right? There's no noticeable breaks in the continuity, all right? I hope that makes sense. Hey. All right, guys, today we talked about continuity editing, the 180-degree rule, shots, master shots, reverse shots, reaction shots. I guess we didn't talk about reaction shots, but, yeah. Yeah, we're done.